ABC General Hospital spoilers for Monday. February 16 show that things don't calm down after Valentine's Day in Port Charles. Instead, everything blows up. What started as a delicate moment of romance quickly turns into a spark that sets off a series of events no one can control. The emotions from that night still hang around like smoke, heavy and hard to shake off. For some, that night held a lot of promises. For some, it marked the start of everything falling apart. Right in the middle of the biggest change are Britt and Jason. Valentine's Day was never going to be easy for them. Their connection has always been tested by pressure formed in risky moments, strengthened during tough times, and held together by things they never had to say out loud. This year, though, something was different. Jason's look at Britt held a sense of urgency, like it was something that couldn't wait. Britt's response showed she knew nothing in their world was steady. That night wasn't just romantic, it marked a turning point. And now the consequences are coming to light. At first, the tension isn't coming from outside. It's all happening inside. Britt can tell that Jason is readjusting. He's quieter than usual, more lost in his own thoughts, like he's already working out what's going to happen next. Sidwell's shadow still lingers. Cullum's manipulations are still left hanging. Jason understands that showing any vulnerability, even emotional, leaves him open to being used against. Loving Britt openly puts you out there. That reality makes him change just a little. He starts to protect in a different way, less about showing it and more about thinking it through. This change feels unsettling for Britt. She knows how Jason thinks, but she can also sense the mood shifting. She's looking for certainty. She hopes that Valentine's night brought them closer, not that it was the start of pulling away emotionally. The line between protection and distance is pretty narrow, and Jason is treading it with caution. That alone causes friction. But everything really kicks off when outside forces clamp down even harder. Valentine's Day might have given them a short break from the tension, but it also showed just how much was at stake for both of them. Sidwell understands that emotional attachments give you an advantage. Cullum does well when things are unstable. If Jason's attention slips even for a second, that weakness can be taken advantage of. The pressure starts to build up fast. This is where you start to see the story change. Jason starts acting differently, making decisions without being completely open about them. It's not that he doesn't trust Britt, he just thinks keeping certain things from her will protect her. Britt is not passive at all. She won't let herself be left out. She's learned from experience that leaving people out can lead to trouble. The harder Jason tries to keep things separated, the more Britt resists. Their relationship shifts from a passionate romance into a strategic partnership that could either hold strong or fall apart. What comes after Valentine's Day really takes on a deeper meaning. It was the last moment of simplicity before things started to get complicated. Now it feels like every conversation carries a heavy weight. Each look holds silent questions. Are they sticking together as they move ahead, or are they starting to pull apart? Each building up their own defenses. Things have gotten tougher, and their bond has to either grow stronger or break under the strain. At the same time, the effects spread outward. Sunny picks up on Jason's tension and starts to feel uneasy. Michael notices small changes. The feelings in Port Charles shift as everyone realizes that Britt and Jason aren't just trying to get through the chaos anymore, they're right in the middle of it. Their relationship isn't just some side story anymore. To their enemies, it's a real weakness. And still within that ups and downs, there's a chance. Jason's toughest challenges have always brought out his strongest friendships. If Britt can show she can stand by him without getting hurt in the process, their partnership might grow into something even stronger. If they keep hiding things from each other, Valentine's Day might not end up being something to celebrate at all. It could just be the quiet moment before everything falls apart. The marks that night left are clear and impossible to ignore. Something changed. Something shifted. And now the tension is steadily building. The change isn't obvious right now, but it's definitely growing. And when it finally erupts, it won't just impact Britt and Jason. It will change the balance of power around them. Valentine's Day didn't stop the war. It showed what's truly worth fighting for. Willow's control over Drew isn't subtle anymore. It follows a clear system. What started as subtle influence has grown into something much darker, more intentional, and way more risky. Drew isn't just being influenced. He's actually being chemically subdued. Willow knows that Drew stays dangerous as long as he keeps his head clear. He's got more knowledge than he should. He remembers way more than he should. And his memory is the one thing she can't let settle. So she squeezes the needle with the most careful grip she can manage. The injections aren't done on a whim. They are being measured, timed, given as if out of care, concern, or the hope of recovery. Willow keeps up the act of being a protector, all the while quietly wearing down the very man she says she wants to help. The toxin doesn't set off any instant warning signs, but it's strong enough to keep Drew feeling confused, obedient, and unable to fully understand what she's done. Every time she takes a dose, it tightens her grip a little more. Every time the injection is given, her grip gets stronger. Control that depends on secrecy doesn't last long. Kai has started to notice things don't quite add up. At first, it's just a feeling: Drew's sudden changes in mood, the way Willow stops by alone, and the brief pause before she lets anyone else get close to him. Then there's that moment that shifts everything. Kai spots the syringe. He watches Willow give something she doesn't quite know how to explain. And right then, what was just a doubt turns into knowing for sure. The mood in the room changes right away. Willow feels like someone's eyes are on her. She moves with sharper, more defensive motions. Kai's silence isn't because he doesn't know. He's just thinking it through carefully. He doesn't face her right away. Instead, he just studies, watches, links the pattern. The more he watches, the clearer it gets. Willow isn't helping Drew find his balance. She is poisoning him. That realization completely changes the whole story. If Kai decides to make a move, things are going to get messy fast. Exposing Willow means peeling back all the layers of manipulation she's put together. It means showing that Drew's condition wasn't just getting worse, it was planned. If Drew suddenly sees things clearly just as Willow gets exposed, her whole grip on control would fall apart right away. Willow isn't the type to give up easily. If she feels Kai getting closer, she might step things up. The number of injections might go up. The dosages might get stronger. Or even worse, she might change her whole approach, shifting the blame around, twisting the story, and making Kai seem unstable or like he's just getting in the way. Her greatest weapon isn't the toxin. It's all about how you see it. The tension builds with each moment Kai waits to face the situation. The longer Willow goes unchecked, the more dangerous she gets. Drew's body gets weaker, but her grip on things in her mind grows stronger. She thinks she's still in the lead. She thinks her adjustments are perfect. But just one syringe left out in the open can ruin it all. And when the truth comes out that Willow purposely injected poison into Drew, it's not going to be a quiet mess. It's going to be a disaster. Legal consequences are the penalties or actions that follow when someone breaks a law or rule. These can include fines, jail time, or other punishments depending on the offense. Understanding legal consequences is important because it helps people know what can happen if they don't follow the law. Emotional devastation. Broken alliances can leave people feeling lost and uncertain about what comes next. When trust fades or goals no longer line up, those partnerships start to crumble. It's hard to know whether to fix what's damaged or move on. Sometimes broken alliances mark the end of a chapter, and other times they open the door to new possibilities. Either way, they remind us that relationships take work, and when that work stops, things fall apart. The shock will spread to everyone linked to them. Willow's descent isn't just an idea anymore. It's on. And Kai's discovery might be the spark that sets the whole structure she's put together on fire. Once poison takes the place of persuasion, there's no turning back. Portia's behavior is changing in a quiet but clear way, and it's getting harder to just write it off as nervousness. What started as quiet tension about who the father of her unborn child might be has grown into something much more calculated and intense and less stable as time goes on. Portia doesn't react to suspicion anymore. She's handling it. She's setting up conversations, guiding the story, and putting herself in spots that make it clear she's trying to be a few moves ahead of whatever's going to come out. The mystery about who the father of her child is has grown into more than just a private matter. It's turned into a real obsession. Every time Curtis looks my way, it feels like he's sizing me up. Every question from Trina seems to carry more than just its words. Even simple chats these days seem to matter more than before. Instead of looking for relief by being honest, Portia tries even harder to keep control. She decides who gets the information, how much they get, and when they get it. That kind of careful holding back shows fear, but it also shows she knows the truth could blow everything up for her. What's making things more unstable is that Portia's efforts to keep control are starting to seem unpredictable. Her voice suddenly takes on a sharper edge. She seems to make her decisions quickly, like she's trying to protect herself. She wants to do DNA testing one minute, then the next she's unsure. She offers comfort, then steers the conversation a different way. The shaky feelings under her calm surface are getting tougher to keep hidden. The harder she works to keep her perception steady, the more chaos builds up inside her. Who the father is goes beyond just biology now. It shows loyalty, betrayal, and power. If Curtis isn't the father, the emotional damage would be really hard to handle. If Isaiah or someone else has that truth, it affects more than just marriage. It touches on reputation and trust too. Portia knows how big that chance really is, and that's exactly why she holds on tighter to every conversation. She thinks that by managing the timing, she can control when the explosion happens. But secrets don't follow any plan. They have leaks. They break apart. They show up in ways you can't really predict. Trina's increasing awareness just adds more pressure. A daughter's intuition is often stronger than most grown-ups think. If Trina notices her mother acting differently, she might start asking questions that Portia isn't ready to deal with. Once Trina starts pulling on that thread, things could come apart pretty fast. The sad thing is that Portia's natural urge to protect might actually be putting her at more risk. Trying to control how people see her might make her come off as manipulative. When she's not clear, it makes people start to wonder what's really going on. Once suspicion takes hold, it spreads fast. The more the truth stays hidden, the bigger the impact when it finally comes out. This isn't just a simple story about unsure paternity anymore. It's like a spiral in your mind. Portia's need to hold on to control is growing stronger because she feels it slipping through her fingers. That paradox causes instability. Her choices become clearer. Her emotions felt more fragile. The secret starts to feel less like something she's holding on to and more like something that's taking over her. And when the truth finally comes out, because it always does, the surprise won't just affect her relationship with Curtis. It's going to change how she sees Trina, Isaiah, and even herself. The changes she's making now might just make the damage worse down the line. The harder she holds on to the secret, the more fiercely it will burst out. Sonny's used to pressure, but lately it's been different, harder to predict and harder to keep under control. The balance he worked hard to keep in Port Charles is starting to slip. And the latest surprise isn't from an enemy attack but from Lucy. When Lucy suddenly reveals Sidwell's secret activities, the effect hits right away. What she finds isn't just hearsay or doubt, it's an actual structure. Networks are systems that connect things or people so they can share information or work together. They can be as simple as friends sharing messages or as complex as computers communicating across the world. Whether it's social, technological, or biological networks help different parts come together and function as a whole. Silent exchanges. Strategic infiltration. Suddenly, Sonny sees that the threat he thought he knew has actually been running much deeper and bigger than he ever imagined. Lucy's revelation comes out carelessly but strikes hard with what it reveals. She reveals bits of Sidwell's secret deals, maybe illegal imports hidden behind honest businesses, money moving through fake corporate partnerships, and influence slowly growing in social and business groups. Sonny had a feeling something was going to grow. He didn't expect it to be so deep. He suddenly understands with a jolt Sidwell hasn't been making things up on the spot. He has been building. That awareness shakes Sonny more than he likes to admit. The challenge he's dealing with now is just as much about mindset as it is about strategy. For years, Sonny has been the one in charge of control. He watches his opponents closely. He guesses how people might react. He answers right away. But Lucy's revelation shows that Sidwell has been watching him just as carefully. The thought that someone slipped under his radar and quietly set up leverage points doesn't just feel threatening, it's downright embarrassing. Humiliation is what drives people to act unpredictably. Lucy, on the other hand, wants to face things head-on right away. She thinks that being exposed to things gives you strength. Sonny knows that being exposed can sometimes make you feel vulnerable. Their different ways of doing things cause some tension. Lucy wants to make a loud noise. Sonny wants to figure it out. But it feels like time is moving faster now. If Sidwell's network is really as wide as Lucy says, waiting too long might let him get even stronger. Acting too quickly might cause retaliation. That's when the craziness starts to sneak in, not actual madness, just things getting more intense. Sonny feels that familiar edge of aggression creeping in. He feels like he needs to take Sidwell down hard to make it clear that Port Charles isn't up for a sneaky takeover. But there's something about Sidwell's restraint that makes that approach risky. Sidwell works best when there's a bit of controlled chaos around. He might even be expecting how Sonny will feel. The tension feels like it's closing in, making it hard to breathe. Sonny starts changing how things run. He works on improving internal communication, rethinking his partnerships, and even taking a closer look at people he's trusted for years. He's not usually paranoid, but his caution starts to turn into suspicion. Who was aware of Sidwell's expansion? Who got the benefit? Who kept quiet? Lucy's revelation sets off a chain reaction that pushes Sonny to look inward and really examine himself. But underneath the shift in strategy, there's something more personal going on. Sidwell's secrecy comes across almost like a dare. It's a subtle way of saying Sonny can't just do whatever he wants anymore. That feeling eats away at him. He feels uneasy at the thought that his territory might be quietly taken over without him noticing right away. It hits at the heart of who he is. Lucy's disclosure hasn't just shared information. It has thrown the balance off. Now Sonny has to choose whether to hold back his reaction or let it out. If he pushes things too far, he could end up attracting the attention of law enforcement, getting rival groups involved, and causing innocent people to get hurt. If he holds back, people might think he's weak. The balance is really delicate. The real risk is when emotions swing too far the other way. When Sonny feels trapped, he hits back hard. But Sidwell might be banking on that pattern. Lucy's revelation might have set things in motion. But it's really up to Sonny and how he reacts that will decide if this turns into a planned struggle or just blows up. Out of control. For the first time in a long time, Sonny isn't reacting to obvious aggression. He is reacting to the hidden expansion. Hidden enemies call for a different kind of instinct. The real question is if Sonny can calm down enough so anger doesn't decide what he does next. When fury takes control, the fallout usually spreads far beyond what anyone expects.